I'm Terance Branigan, and I'm the entrepreneur in residence at Southeastern Regional College. I'll just give you a bit of a background on myself. So I'm obviously from Northern Ireland, and I've been running businesses probably from around the age of 5. So I had 8 jobs at one point from the age of 5 until the age of 16. From there, I've gone out and I've started businesses, I've run businesses, I've bought businesses, and I've sold businesses, not only in Northern Ireland, but across UK and Ireland, and then internationally. So people ask me often, what is an entrepreneur? What makes an entrepreneur? And I'm just about to talk about 5 different traits that I find common amongst those who are entrepreneurs. The first one is that entrepreneurs tend to be intuitive. So what I mean by intuitive, I talk about light bulb moments. So entrepreneurs will often see things that others don't, or will view things in a different way from others. So those kind of light bulb moments where they're intuitive about an opportunity and they see an opportunity much more clearly than most. Second thing about entrepreneurs is they tend to be risk takers. So they tend to have what I call a much greater risk appetite, and they see opportunities, not barriers, and they think and operate outside of what people would see as the norm or accepted parameters. People often talk about thinking outside the box, and that's because they are prepared to take risks, prepared to move beyond the norm. So risk takers is the second trait. The third one is they tend to be very determined and focused. So entrepreneurs, for them, it's about how, not if. It's about getting things done. So determined and focused. Fourth trait is that they are very passionate. And because they're passionate, they carry people with them. Now, people often mistake passion and aggression. And people sometimes talk about entrepreneurs being aggressive. That's not aggression. It's actually passion for their idea, passion for the opportunity, and passion to deliver. And the fifth trait that you will often see with entrepreneurs is they are clear-minded and single-minded. That is, they focus on the prize. They tend not to allow clutter to get in the way, and they look for the shortest route to success. So those 5 traits again. So they're intuitive. They have those light bulb moments. They're risk takers. So they look at opportunities, not barriers. They are determined and focused. So it's about how, not if. They are passionate, and that allows them to carry other people with them. And they're clear-minded and single-minded. So they focus on the prize, or uncluttered. Let me give you an example of an opportunity that others didn't see, that I saw and turned it into a very significant business opportunity, profitable business opportunity. There's a place called East Timor, which is just north of Australia, once part of Indonesia, and they looked for independence, and indeed there was a battle for independence, and they finally freed themselves and created what was then the world's newest democracy, East Timor. Whilst that was going on, the UN wished to intervene and ensure that there was peacekeeping, but as a precursor to that, the Australian forces were going into East Timor. I saw the opportunity to provide support services for what would become a UN peacekeeping force, but initially Australian peacekeeping force. However, there was no commercial flights in, and there was no other means of commercially getting into East Timor at that point. I'd been doing some work with the Australian forces in terms of supplying support services within Australia for their Army, Navy and Air Force. And because of my connections, I went to see senior military figures within the Australian Forces, and persuaded them that it might be a good idea if I went into East Timor on a military transport to have a look at what support services would be required that could be delivered by civilians. To cut a long story short, I persuaded them and went in on a military aircraft and landed in East Timor. A lot of the infrastructure was destroyed, and therefore military and subsequent civilians from United Nations peacekeeping were going to have to set up in tented villages, tented camps. And when I had a look at the opportunities in Dili Harbour, Dili being the capital of East Timor, Dili Harbour was still relatively intact. And I came up with the idea of supplying flotels, that's floating hotels, which I'd used previously in the Shetlands, for Shetland Islands, for housing people in oil production. And after getting agreement from the UN, I chartered some flotels and brought them down to, sailed them down to Dili Harbour, where we provided accommodation then for UN administrators and military personnel. So we were able to get the contract for the UN support services because we were first in country and we came up with a new and different idea in providing support service infrastructure in what was a very different and difficult scenario. So there you have an example, hopefully, of taking opportunity and creating business from it.